Hi everyone, so this is my review of Batman Endgame Part 3. As you guys know, I absolutely hated Batman Endgame Part 1, but I loved Batman Endgame Part 2. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Part 3, I don't know what to think about it really. It had some very good art, it was very well written, it was, well, bits of it were very well written. There was this. I know that I complained before that the whole idea of the Joker spraying Joker gas onto the city, and that was what seemed very overdone and cliche. But this time it's very different. You see, this time the Joker gas actually makes everyone in the city want to kill each other, and boy, that is so much more fun than just making them all laugh. Because there is such a threat, and the way that the Joker gets at Batman, there's a certain specific person who was the start of the first person infected, because he knew Batman would go for him to get antitoxin from his blood, and the person that he chooses is so perfect as a way to taunt Batman, and the scene he sets up inside the hospital is so the most cruel thing, but he's letting Batman know, the Joker is, that he knows who he is. It's fantastic, but there are some very serious flaws, and I mean uber serious. Like when we left off in Batman Endgame Part 2, you may remember that the Joker had trapped Batman in he'd attacked him with a paralytic. That does come back in this, but he trapped him in a cell, and he was locked in the cell. And I was all thinking, why? How's he going to get out of the cell? This is really interesting. I can't wait to find out. But the start of this, he's inexplicably back in the back. Well, not the Batcave. Well, yeah, it's the Batcave. Sorry, I can't remember if he uses the Batcave or not, because that's anyway. He's back there with Alfred and Julia, and it's completely unexplained how he got there. I mean, he's being attacked by a paralytic and then locked in a cell, and yet you show him still fighting mentally the effects of the paralytic, but somehow not in the cell that you never showed him escape. Zack Snyder, why? This is just lazy, not even bothering to show him escape, or how he did it, because it seemed what was it, just too hard to write how to escape? What's wrong with you, man? But yeah, I have quite a few other complaints about this as well. Mainly, there was this part where Gordon finds out about, spoiler, really big spoilers here, but Gordon is searching through some old photos of this previous problem from 1946, where someone had replaced all of the medicine in a children's ward at the hospital with rat poison, and killed the children. And he looked at these photos, and he suddenly saw, they said, people were saying that the devil himself had been there, and he saw in the photos that the Joker's face. That was really, yeah, the Joker's face is in the photos, and he was in several of the photos. And there's just this really annoying hint, and it's hinted again when, after their sort of conflict, the Gordon shoots the Joker properly and kills him, and he's lying down, his eyes are up, and he's clearly not conscious, and he looks like he's dead. He's been shot in the chest, and yet he suddenly reappears next panel, standing right up, like. But there's this annoying idea, and it's a really, really annoying idea, and it's the same thing which also comes across in James Tynion's story, The First Laugh, which these two, along with some elements in the previous the previous Pale Man stories, they're really strongly implying that the Joker is not human and that he's possibly the devil. I do not like this one bit. And my reason for not liking this is that I find one of the things that made the Joker so scary as a villain, if you read The Killing Joke, is that he's the kind of character who, awful and a complete monster though he is, you see exactly how he becomes what he is, in that anyway. And I know it was never an official story, but you know it was something similar to that. He says he has a really bad day and it makes him into this monster. Just read The Killing Joke if you haven't, it's brilliant. But this idea that he's the worst that a regular human can become, it's terrifying in the way that you know there's the very slightest potential that it's the most awful you yourself have the potential to become. He is the darkest, most twisted thing that you could see yourself becoming, and that, in the weirdest way, I think, makes him an absolutely terrifying villain. But in this, these implications that A, he's been around since 1946, and B, if the first laugh's to be believed, he's been around since, when was it? I don't know, about 200 years ago. It's so completely messing up 75 years of a character's history and backstory. I mean, if the Joker was a demon or the devil, it should have been something that was said a long time ago. I mean, if this had been said 10 or even 20 years after a character had come out, I wouldn't have minded. But this character is something so huge, and someone who's been in the continuity now. I know the continuity has been rebooted a few times, and this is a relatively new reboot, but he's a character who's been around for 75 years. You really shouldn't be doing this, because you're taking away some of the fear factor. And one of the other things I really don't like about what they're doing with the Joker, and I know it seems creepy as hell, this suit, but I don't like the fact that he's wearing a black suit. I mean, you think about the Joker, you think of, well, he's Batman's opposite. Batman is in black. Batman is the Dark Knight. The Joker, irrespective of his cruelty, is the opposite of dark. He is the antithesis of Batman. He's a bright, colourful clown. So why have you sucked all the colour out of his outfit? And you've just made him black, dark grey and white. He's effectively the same colour palette as Batman, albeit with... I mean, his hair's not even that vibrantly green anymore. It's just sort of faintly, and you could even argue it's practically grey. It's not good. You've really messed up the character, in my opinion. I mean, he's still salvageable, but it's really not what I do with it. There's one more thing which I really didn't like. Where's part 2 again? Here's part 2. And that's that during Endgame part 2, where am I? Let me just find the line. La 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 la. He specifically says here that, see bats, this time, no more jokes, no more gags. I'm just here to close up shop. I used to think that we could have fun, you and me, but no, you've become too boring to me. I guess I just know you too well. But there's the thing, no more jokes, no more gags. But then in this book, one book after he says no more jokes and no more gags, again, something I really don't like. But if you're going to change the way a character's thinking in this story, at least make it consistent. I'd have been happier if he'd stuck with no more jokes, no more gags, because it seems consistent with the whole dark revenge, I hate you Batman now. But in this, he's completely changed that. Because, what is it he was saying? He's completely changed his stance again. Where is it? He says here, straight after, in the previous issue, no more jokes, no more gags. Oh, come on now, Jimbo. I've got so much new material to test out. New gags, new slides. Watch this. Look, new gag. Oh my goodness, my scissors got attached to it. New gags. You specifically said in the previous issue, no more gags. I mean, did you forget that what you wrote one issue ago? What's wrong with you, Zack? Zack Snyder. Is it Zack Snyder or Scott Snyder? I always get them confused. Scott Snyder. Sorry, I think I called him Zack Snyder again earlier. Completely incompetent there, but I don't like it. So yeah, mixed feelings about this one. I was really looking forward to it after part 2 as well, so it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Yeah, that's about it. See you, well, tomorrow actually, because there were actually 2 issues of Endgame out this week. I know, this week, what's up with these things? They both arrived this week. They say February as well, but they arrived in January. What is this madness? Because next week, this will be not Endgame Part 4, but an Endgame tie-in. Sorry, I'm doing this tomorrow, probably. I haven't read this yet, so I said this is a vlog. I'm doing them as I go on. So yeah, comment below, tell me what you think. Thanks.